believe that we did.
I believe that we did.
I believe that we did win.
I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win.
Back 1, 2, 3.
Backwood.
It is the playoff edition of the Lincoln Playbook. Head coach Brad Wallace, the head coach of the Lincoln Golden Bears, and coach, a very special congratulations to you. This is your first ever playoff win as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm real excited for us as a school and especially for our kids. This is my first playoff win, and I really hadn't thought about it that way.
Right.
I've been thinking more about, hey, let's get our next round, get our next victory, and get going for the next few weeks. But I have to give a lot of credit. These kids came out and practiced hard this week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were phenomenal practices.
Right.
It was something that we hadn't seen in a while.
24-7 was the win, and you at home might be noticing something different here. Coach, you have a little hat on today because of the fact of?
I had my head shaved. On Monday, what I came in and I told the kids, I said, I'm willing to do anything for us to win.
Right.
So what I told them, I said, if you win Friday,
right.
y'all got my hair.
Absolutely.
Y'all can get it. So, but as soon as the game was over with, we came in the locker room, and it was one of those deals where it kind of brought the team together,
right.
and there was a lot of excitement. So I'm hoping that doing this at least a little bit
right.
kind of got to motivate them to keep going for the next few
Absolutely.
weeks.
I promise you can put the hat on, so you can go ahead and do that. A very, very tough Boas team came into to Lincoln, and talk about just the game, the way everything measured out. You got some late touchdowns there that really sealed it.
Yeah, when we watched them on tape, I mean, they threw it around a good bit, but at the beginning of the game, they really tried to start getting the running game started,
right.
and they had some opportunities, and they moved the ball on us right at the beginning, and we made a few adjustments, and we got our kids in the right spots, and we kind of shut that down, and we just kind of got settled as far as defensively. Now, offensively, they gave us a few things that we weren't expecting. They zeroed us out a little bit more than what I thought they would, and we had to make some adjustments, and luckily we put some things in this week that would help us out with people that are zeroing us out now, and so gave us a little bit of underneath center, two tight eye,
right.
and an A set, which is two tight ends, two flankers, and a back and a quarterback. So that's going to be some things that we can use for the next few weeks.
One of the emotional leaders of this football team, Jamario Howard, able to make his way back onto the field. We saw that horrendous injury that happened to him a couple of weeks ago. You know, talk about his spirit, his enthusiasm, and then what he brought to the team Friday night.
Well, the thing is about that kid, I don't know if I've ever been around a young man that's like he is. I mean, when he gets injured, he bounces back so quick. I mean, and a lot of people don't know, he had a labrum surgery done back in March of last year, and he bounced back from that in about 2 months.
Wow.
And so that's the kind of character this kid's got. I mean, and the one thing that he kept saying is, he said, Coach, I'm going to be back for the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
I said, man, are you sure? And I'd bring him in my office, and I'd be like, man, you need to make the right decision. I mean, because he's got a great wrestling career going on, and I don't want to be I don't want our team to have to look at, hey man, that kid got injured before his wrestling career. But he's a phenomenal kid. He came out and he played very well in that football game, and his intensity and his emotion, it kind of rubs off on the rest of our players.
Absolutely. It was great to see him back on the field, and you will see him in the highlights that are coming up here next in Lincoln Playbook. Of course, this show is made possible by a lot of fine sponsors. One of them is Luxury Auto Parts. Visit them at luxuryautoparts.com or insurancedirect.autos.com. Phone number 256-763-1084. Go out and see Lee McLean and the folks. You can also call them toll free, 1-888-589-PARTS. Back with more of the Lincoln Playbook after the break. You're watching the Lincoln Playbook on TV 24. Coach, a festive atmosphere as you guys got started off in this first round game.
Yeah, and I mean, one of our leaders bringing the flag out, that was an awesome move. I didn't even realize he had the flag in his hand.
Right.
But our guys came out and they started out very strong. Number 9, he had been with us in a couple weeks. Comes out and has a good run right here. Like I said last week, we're about 98% healthy right now, and things are getting better and better. Justin Knight, he's been toting the load a good bit for us the last few weeks, and he's doing a phenomenal job on offense and defense side of the ball.
Right, absolutely. You guys really get a good drive going, and then you get a great field goal here by Mason.
Oh yeah, and I mean he's getting better and better, and later on in the game, I actually give him a shot at a 53-yarder. So I mean, he's got a strong leg. We're going to keep working with him, keep giving him opportunities.
And one of their big things coming into this game was their passing game. That's something that you knew that you had to shut down.
Yeah, they started out with a little bit of the zone, a little bit of zone read stuff, and we weren't really set up for that right at the beginning. We were set up for more of their passing game because we figured they would come out and try to air us out, kind of like they did there. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish some a little bit of pass coverage and hope our guys stay in coverage throughout the game.
Absolutely. End of the first quarter, still with that 3-0 lead, and then here they just go to the trickeration and kind of hit that home run.
Yeah, this is, and it's like I was telling the kids today on our film session. I mean, this was one of our major blemishes. If it's trickery, yeah, we should have fixed it, and we showed them how to fix it during our film session. But we don't need to let anything like this happen to us in these playoff games from here on out. And
one of the things that kind of really stuck out to me is, they hit that early in the game in the second quarter, not another point after that. You guys did a really good job of keeping them hemmed up.
And I'm going to tell you something, our defense went out after that and pretty much, it stagnated their offense pretty much, and that's a real test of our defense getting better and better. They had another pick, of course, this week, and it's the turnover ratio is so good for our defense right now.
Middle of the second quarter, Zay Caldwell really takes off with his legs and uses his legs to get in the end zone.
Yeah, we're trying to spread the field out a little bit. We've got a pass run situation right here. If his pass is not open, he's able to use his legs and get out of it. We've been working kind of a little bit with this week and kind of dealing in, trying to get ready for this next week, and hopefully he can use a little bit more of that.
10-7 was your score there, and obviously, they're in a position where they can still try to run the football. They can also still try to pass. The defense really does a great job, though, of really keeping them on the backside of the 50.
Yeah, they're playing hard, and every one of them, it seems like, the whole time through the game, we're swarming the football every time the ball goes in the air. Every time it's even handed off, we've got safeties and guys coming up and making great plays, and that's one sign of a great defense coming together.
Absolutely. Zay Caldwell using his legs once again, and he's so dangerous because he gives time for the play to develop before he runs.
That's exactly right. He goes through all his reads, and if it's not there, he'll take it down and he'll take off running. And the thing about him is he's so elusive because he's got this little, I call it his little lope, and then he's got another gear that he gets into,
right,
and it kind of messes with people a lot. But we had another great catch right there by JaMychal Baker.
And it's that 53-yarder talking about it. Look, he's got the distance just a little bit off on the right side.
That's it. And he's got the leg for it. I think he came to the sideline. He said, "Coach, I hit a little low." He's got the leg to put that through.
Absolutely. 10-7 your score at the end of the first half. Talk about what you saw on film leading up to the game, and then what you saw Friday night. Obviously, the only big play they hit was the double pass. Was there any other thing that you saw differently?
No, basically the only thing that I saw a little bit more was they started running the ball a little bit more,
right,
according to our tendencies and our percentages. That was something that they weren't giving us as much as toward the end of the season. But they gave us a lot more running, a lot more zone, and a little bit more counter out of it. And defensively, we had to make a few adjustments on that. But offensively, they zeroed us out a little bit more than I thought they would. I thought they would stay back in coverage a little bit more, but they brought a lot of pressure on our offensive line, and we had to get used to it. That's something that they hadn't shown us on tape.
Absolutely. One of the things that has really happened, I guess, since Jamario's injury was a lot of different guys have stepped up at running back. And you saw a lot of Justin Knight there. Saw some of Duranye Bell as well. Talk about the backfield and just everybody kind of stepping up, next man up.
Well, and the one thing that we're not going to do is we're probably not going to run Jamario much.
Right.
Today he was talking about it. He was like, "Coach, I can get back there again."
Yeah.
So that may be 3 guys that we've got that can run, 4 guys because we've got Dante Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a great nucleus. And the one thing about those guys is you never hear them whining or complaining about, "Hey, I didn't get these reps. I didn't get these reps." They're very humble, and they're just there to help the team out and doing what they can do.
One of the things what happens when you get quarterbacks with a lot of time to throw and then they run it, the unsung heroes on that is the offensive line, because they're able to hold those blocks up front and give the quarterback time. Talk about the way that O-line's play.
We've got a few holding calls, and that's one thing that we are still working on. We've got a young offensive line, and you're going to have that kind of stuff.
Sure.
A lot of these guys never have started in varsity games, and it's 10th game of the season, but they're not as seasoned. Because really and truthfully, a lot of them didn't get many reps in the JV.
Right.
A lot of the weight room and a lot of the the stuff we did in the offseason got them to where they are right now, and they've come on phenomenally. But our center, I think he had 3 holding calls Friday night, and that's just a big guy on a smaller line.
Right.
And we like to use a smaller center because we pull him and use him as one of our blockers. But he's coming on, and I mean he's going to get better and better as the year progresses.
Absolutely. Who's also getting better as the year progresses is the band, and they had a great show, their first playoff show of the high school football season here in 2014. You'll take a listen to their performance on Friday night here on the Lincoln Playbook. We're back with the Lincoln Playbook on TV 24. Coach, you got the ball in the first half. You gave it to them in the second half. Defense really did a good job of getting them off the field.
That's exactly right. We got a basically it was almost a 3 and out, but we gave them a first down right in there. But our D got them off the field, and we got our offense back out, and we did a great job. We started doing some more blocking better in spots that we had problems in the first half.
Right.
That was a lot of talk at halftime. We had to revamp our offensive line a little bit. I mean, we were stagnated, kind of like we weren't making those physical blocks. But in the second half, you see a few more of them.
Absolutely, and there they try to stretch it out, try to get a lot of plays along the outside. Defense does a good job pursuing there.
Yeah, we had a bunch of younger guys actually playing in this game because of our DBs. We had to use a few more DBs than we normally do. And we went out and used those guys, and they flew around on the field and looked really good.
One of the things that I really credit your guys' defense with is when they get in the red zone, they really bow up.
They buckle down, they really do. And I mean, that was a great play by KJ Collins right there. They've become a red zone defense.
Right.
I mean, they bend but don't break, and that's the one thing that we try to work on.
And then here Justin Knight gets along the outside. Great ways to break tackles, and then just his speed takes over.
This was a phenomenal run, and great help by Jamichael Baker out in front of him to help spring this thing into the end zone.
Absolutely, and once you get this, then you start to feel there's a cushion, and your team's playing well when you need to play well.
That's exactly right. We hadn't played well in the second half the last few weeks, and I was glad to see our guys come out and play this hard. We had a pick right here by Devontae Whiteside. He's been doing a great job back at free safety. He's had a couple picks this year already too. But we're getting better and better. We had a little sack right there, but like I said, we're trying to clean up our offensive line a little bit and trying to keep their hands out of their jerseys as much.
Absolutely, and it's got to feel good whenever you do, like you were saying, getting that offense gelling at the same time, really being able to get some points there as well.
It will, and the one thing that I've seen in the last few weeks is our offense is kind of struggling a little bit, but our defense has gotten better.
Right.
When we get them all on the same page, it's going to be phenomenal for us.
Absolutely, and I feel like once that pick happened, the quarterback was kind of hesitant throwing the football unless the guy was wide open, which gave the defense a lot of chances to get him.
It really did, and our guys were playing very well in the second half.
Right.
And the more we watched tape today, I mean, the more I kept seeing, yeah, we had a pass interference penalty, but that's just physical football.
Right.
I mean, our DBs were getting on their receivers pretty tough, and good wrap-up tackles and being physical, and you're going to have a few of those every now and then.
Right. Just
because we were playing man-to-man coverage as like we were.
Absolutely. Mason's kick really flipped the field. They go for it on fourth down. They don't get it. You turn that drive into 2 plays, a quick touchdown there.
That's it. Our offense really. That's the way you want to strike back.
Right.
After you have a good turnaround on defense, you want to go put the ball into the end zone. And I mean, our guys still hadn't backed down, and it was a great effort. You see them celebrating together. That's what I want to see out of my kids.
Absolutely, and it's just so great, I guess, when you're a head coach of a football team, that this is a ball game the entire time, really all the way through late in the third quarter. It's a ball game, and then you really start to, I guess, have that killer instinct, so to speak, and put it away 24/7.
Yeah, and I mean, we stayed steady, and that was one of the things that we've been trying to work on. and we had that for a little while during the season, but in the last few weeks we've kind of broken away from it. As I want us to stay steady as a football team, we want to keep doing the right things every time.
Right.
And I mean, even if something bad happens, we've got to keep our heads up and we've got to play the next play.
Right. Some guys that maybe on camera that we didn't get to see, they didn't make the big play, but some key performers Friday night. Anybody that you can think of?
I tell you, to be honest with you, I've got a right tackle that's out, and we've been flipping and flopping and trying to get somebody there.
Right.
Keon Woods did a great job at right tackle for us Friday night. He's only a 10th grader, and he came in and helped our football team out tremendously at the right tackle position. I mean, you've got Runye Bell and you've got Justin Knight that are filling in wonderful for Jamario Howard right now, and I couldn't ask for anything more out of those. One
of the things we talked about in the last 2 weeks of the season, and everybody kind of looks at the scoreboard and it's like, oh man, Lincoln's not playing very well heading into the playoffs. One of the things you just kept saying was, at least these guys are getting experience. Talk about that aspect and then the way that translated Friday night.
Well, I mean, it helps out because, I mean, you take Justin. Justin didn't start getting reps at running back until week 8.
Right.
So I mean, it's one of those deals where we're trying to get these guys some reps and trying to get them an opportunity to be on the field and at least know what it feels like to start out a game at running back or because I mean, I was talking about Moody. Runye Bell had to start the game at running back, and I never will forget. He came off the field and he looked at me and he said, "Coach, I don't know how Mario does it." I mean, at the beginning, because I mean that intensity is so high at the beginning of a ball game. But he learned a little bit from there, and I mean, our kids have. We've been doing a growing process. I mean, we've got a lot of young guys that are still playing. I mean, I've got some ninth and 10th graders that are coming on, and they're starting to help out. Number 22. Morgan, he helped us out a little bit at receiver this week, and so we're getting better and better.
Absolutely. Final thing, you always talk about improving, whether it's game to game, week to week, practice to practice. What are some of the things that maybe since, I guess, week 7 or week 8, the back half of the season, up until this point, you're doing well?
I mean, the things that we're starting to get better at it. I think our power game's starting to get better, and I think our DB core is starting to get better. We're starting to be more physical back there. And so I'm excited about them right now.
Absolutely. Right here, or coming up, second round of the playoffs. We go from 32 teams down to 16 teams, and we will talk more about Lincoln's upcoming opponent in round 2. One of the other fine sponsors of this football show is the Lincoln Booster Club. They meet every Monday, 6:30 p.m. at Rick's Crossroads Cafe. If you want to join the Lincoln Booster Club, you're welcome to attend every Monday. Join them, Rick's Crossroads, on the cross section of Highway 77 and 78 up on the hill in Lincoln. Back with more of the Lincoln Playbook after the break.
I'm proud of your effort. I'm proud of what you came out here and accomplished tonight. That's round 1. That's round 1. Let's get to 2. Let's go and take care of business next week, okay? Let's go.
You heard Coach from round 1 to round 2. First of all, let's talk about that second round matchup. It's a big one against Pleasant Grove, and you travel to their place.
Well, number one, I mean, when you talk about Pleasant Grove, if you really look at the region, they could be number 1. And Ramsey and Parker, I think combined with their scores together against Pleasant Grove was like 14 points. And it's all on the last drive or something. Some mishap happened during the game.
Right.
And so we know right now Pleasant Grove's a very seasoned, very good football team that we're going to be facing. Their offensive and defensive lines are very big and very athletic. They have a running back and quarterback combination that is phenomenal. Both of them, I think, are brothers, if I'm not mistaken. They both have the same last name, and they do a great job on the field together. We're going to be in a full quarter war, and that's what I told our kids today. I said we've got to have a great week of practice, no distractions, and let's go out on the field and take this as a business approach and really hone in on what we need to get accomplished, and that's what we did against Mortimer Jordan, and that's the reason we had such a phenomenal win. Is those kids? I mean, they focused in on that one team, and didn't worry about anything else that was going on. They got their schoolwork, they went to class, no distractions, and I mean, we had a great Friday night. So hopefully our kids understand what I'm wanting out of them, and we get to Friday like we're supposed to.
Well, as we sit right now and as we shoot today, you haven't broken down all the film that you will, as the week goes and you digest everything. But what have you seen from their game against Russellville, one of the power schools, so to speak, when they were in 5A and when they were in 6A? They had a big win, 36-14 was their win over there. Talk about that that aspect of it and kind of what you expect from them Friday night.
Well, I actually paid attention to the Pleasant Grove Russellville tape a good bit today. Pleasant Grove's it's like I keep saying, their defensive line, when you zone step them, they're flying outside. It's hard to reach those guys, and they really stay in front of the quarterbacks on a lot of the bootlegs.
Right.
I told our offensive lineman today, as I got to watch a little bit of the tape, I said, guys, we've got to work on our steps. We've got to get in front of these guys, and we've got to get them sealed off and reach so our quarterbacks can boot out on our passes. Defensively, we know right now we've got to play a very, very physical ball game with these guys, and we've got to gang tackle on every play. And we've really got a really good shot at it. We've got to go out there and we've got to get everything dissected and everything going like we want it to this week and have a great football game for Friday.
Absolutely. The region that you guys play in went 2-2. You guys won, and Mortimer Jordan won as well. Mortimer Jordan will play at East Limestone. Madison County will play at Parker, and then Ramsey and Gunnersville. Those are the other two teams left in the north. 16 teams are left in the entire state as far as from 1A. From 1A all the way down to 7A, only 16 teams in each side of the bracket. Talk about just being in this part of the elite company of teams.
When we took our little trip down Saturday, you're sitting in a room and it's every coach that's going to play that week. And you're sitting there and you're like, man, my school's one of the 32 teams that's left in 5A football. And that's a great feeling. It's a great feeling for our kids. And we're taking steps, and we're going to be taking steps for the next few years at Lincoln. But I told our kids, I said, y'all can play with anybody you want to, as long as we get out there and we play together and we have a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion.
One of the things that kind of jumps out is that this game is on the road. You got your first game at home, now you go on the road. Talk about handling that aspect of it.
Well, luckily we've already had 2 games that were about this far. Mortimer Jordan and Hayden.
Right.
Those ball games were about the same distance away from our school, and we handled it very well. And I thought when we got to the ball game, we were ready to go. And but the thing that those ball games gave us, it gave us a sense of what it's going to be like when you take a long road game. When you're going to get ready for a big game and go into a different stadium, and we've never played this school. This is something new to us. So we're going to have to go in with our guns loaded and ready to play this Friday.
One of the things that I guess every coach has to deal with once your team gets into the playoffs, and this is really any sport, whether it's baseball, whether it's soccer, basketball, football, you handle the playoffs a little bit differently as far as preparation goes. It seems like a lot more of it goes to the mental side of it, not as much clanging and banging.
Well, you can't, and that's one thing that I don't think our kids understood as we got toward the end of the season.
Right.
I think they thought I was going to carry on my season practices all the way in.
Right.
And, when you get to this point, you've got to back off a little bit. Basically we have big bump. Everybody's got to wrap up, or you got to block a certain way and run your feet and do things a little bit different. And you see the energy level go up a little bit on the kids because all season long you've been grinding. You've been trying to make them more physical. You've been trying to get your offense in, and basically everything's in now. You're just making adjustments off of what other people do, and it's a lot easier. The practices aren't as long, but we're doing more team oriented stuff, and it helps out with the kids as far as they don't have that lag on Friday, and I think you saw a little bit of that on Friday night with us.
Final question really quick. You always talk about improving one week to the other. What's one thing that you want to see directly improve from last week to this week?
The main thing is we've got to cut down on penalties.
Yeah.
I think we had 195 yards in penalties last week, and I know that's sad to say, but we had some personal fouls that we're going to handle on Monday.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that taken care of after practice, and we've got some holding penalties that have been just hovering over us, and a lot of them. And I know a lot of people sit and say, "Well, it's the same kid, Well, what they don't realize is a lot of times that kid's got one on the ground,
right?
And he's flipped one on their back, and the refs, all they're seeing is that kid going backwards,
yeah,
and his hands are reaching out to
right.
him. So I mean, you get holding penalties called that way, but we've got to work on a few things, and we're going to do a little bit of board drills tomorrow with our offensive linemen, so we'll get that squared away.
Absolutely, Coach. Congratulations on your very first win. We're looking for another win as you go over to Spartan Stadium and take on Pleasant Grove. Go out and join them at Pleasant Grove this week as they play for the 5A North and get to that third round. Thank you very much for watching the Lincoln Playbook. We will see you next week right here on TV 24.
Back up. Touchdown!